Alright, so says welcome to our channel called Uzi Talking To. And today I'm talking to Georgie Treble. Uzi. Georgie Treble was a very, and still is, a successful boxing coach. He has coached and trained many a good fighter. So Georgie, how are you, mate?
I'm alright, Jeff. How are you?
I'm good, mate. It's
That's
nice
good.
to see you, mate.
And you?
Well, Georgie, let's get straight to it. Let's tell about your origins, you growing up, and where did your boxing come from?
Yeah, they come from my dad, who was in box for the King's Regiment, Tommy Bates, who was a great boxer down in Southend, boxed for England, won gold medals. At a very, very young age, had to run a company. Got married when he was 17, run a company, trained boxer, boxed.
Is this in the south end of Liverpool,
In the south
Georgie?
end of Liverpool, in the Dingle, yeah. Boxed for the Florey Institute at the time then. And then he turned pro, and he was a very successful pro, but he got married, he had kids, he had a business.
Is this your mum's? Is this your
cousin?
Or your mum's cousin?
Yeah. So they boxed for the Florey, and then of course my dad boxed for the King's Regiment. And then we went from there to the Golden Gloves. He trained, he had very many boxers to go to Olympic Games. Georgie Turpin picked a medal up in the Olympic Games.
Georgie Turpin.
Carl Spears, yeah, all went to Olympic Games, boxed for me. Tommy Bates, who was the training, and my dad went down there, and of course from there that's where I started.
So you're watching your dad go as he's a coach.
Oh, I was sitting there when I was 8 and 9, getting carried out of the stadium 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, seeing some great boxing, and that's when you start to box in the ABAs 4 times, 2 and 3 o'clock, getting carried out of the stadium. And then when there was a good fight on, you used to all throw the pennies in. Yeah, so they used to all throw, so a good contest used to be on, and you used to all throw the pennies in, but I got carried out of there. And then I decided to go down the gym with my dad, because he pushed me to go.
Okay.
So in the end, I went down at a young age. I used to sit around the ring and watch them all. We had lads going to Olympic Games. We had a family of the Wentons, and the dad boxed for my dad, and of course his sons boxed on the same bill.
It's amazing that. So I'm gonna go deep in it. So where was the Golden Gloves? Whereabout was it? In
Amundsen Street in High Park Street, and it was a 3-story house, and the pub was downstairs, and the club was upstairs.
Just one ring?
Just one ring then, no windows in. If there was pigeon sitting on the top, if you stood still, you got shit on.
So it's a good old gym, eh?
Oh, they were the best old gyms. Like the old Rocky films, when he goes back.
What were the bags like? Just sand?
Oh, they were just sand. You had bag gloves then. They boxed in 6-ounce gloves then, which was...
sparring as well,
yeah. And 8-ounce gloves we boxed in. They boxed in at the time with straw in.
With straw in, with the glass.
Straw in, that's what it was, yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say, the whole horsehair.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Georgie, that's tremendous. That's so from like the ages like 7 or 8, you're watching champions come in. And what was it? Do you ever see, like, he's watching the sparring? What was this? Did they hold back, or was it?
Oh no, it was always full on. They didn't have technique like they've got now. They didn't have head guards. A spar was a spar in them days.
Yeah. Just again, so how many sorts of people were in that gym at that time? The Golden Gloves.
The Golden Gloves, they must have been at the time boxing with cards, maybe 25, 30. Because boxing in the South End was very, very big then. And it still is now.
It's tough down there, yeah, tough areas.
Yeah.
That's so your dad's the main coach in there, yeah?
There was a few, there've always got to be a few coaches. Tommy Lawton was there, Tommy Bates was there, my dad was there. There was quite a few coaches there then.
Do you know what those, so did you have gum shields or?
Oh, we had gum shields, yeah. We had gum shields then, yeah. Now and again, used to put head cards on, but very, very rare.
Very rare. That's amazing, because, do you think today's, just take a fighter from that era, how would you think he would match up with today's era? Just a one-off.
I think it was all different in them days. The kids are well protected now, which they should be, which is right. We didn't have girls boxing then. They weren't even allowed into a boxing gym there with girls now, and it's really, really big with the girls now.
But I guess we're going to come on to later on with the ladies, yeah?
Yeah.
So, back in that gym, so you go to the gym, you go to school. What school did you go to? Just a little reference.
I went to Sudley School, down in the bottom of Park Road.
Okay, the Park Road, yeah. So
Yeah.
you're from there, you go home, and then, you know, see, what time was you in the gym? Was you in the gym every day?
We used to go from school, to go to the gym, because there used to be that many boxers at that time, that it was the beginners, then it was the schoolboys, then it was the juniors, and then it was the seniors. So when my dad used to come in from work, he used to come right from work, we used to go right from school, and then I'd probably sit there, and I was only a learner then, and then I'd probably do a bit of training, and then the schoolboys would come in, then I'd sit there, and then the juniors would come in, then the seniors would come in, and then I was at that younger age where probably sometimes I'd fall asleep. My dad used to throw me in the back of the car and drive me home, but it got a time where I could get myself home, so I used to go to the bus stop with the likes of John Ireland. They all lived in the area.
So John Ireland's,
he went to Olympic Games.
He went to Olympic Games, yeah?
Yeah.
Became a successful promoter and coach as well.
Yeah, very, very big, John. Don't forget there was the Gill bodies come to the gym, Robbie Davis comes to the gloves, we had the Additons, we had a lot of families boxing in them days, not like now, they were all brothers. We had the Additons, which was 3 of them, we had the Gill bodies, that was 3 of them, we had the Weddings, that there was 3 or 4 of them. You know, so there was a lot of big families and used to all box, not like now.
Did you have any, I mean, just off the camera, because there's that many, it seems to me, you know, tough families and stuff. Was there any like off-street rumbles, like, was there always a little bit of bickering or?
There was a few, because, because we had the youngies in there as well. So
throw them in the mix as well.
So Davey was the one that used to box, but all his brothers used to come down to the gym, and there's always, in any boxing gym, there's always a little bit of a feud with boxers over sparring, who's the best, who's going to go the furthest, but you need that little nitty gritty to bring boxers on.
The competitiveness,
the
spark,
Yeah, because I've found out by training boxers, you know, you get a lot of mates coming from the same school, and you get 6 or 7 of them, and they all want to compete, and that's good at the same age.
See, that's like an ingredient to one of this, to make it a champion. Yeah. So in that gym, who was your first, say, you looked up and thought he was a natural, you know, I mean, who did you think when you were watching when you was a kid thinking, I want to be like something, who had the natural movements, or who was Sean?
There was always Georgie Turpin when I was young. Robbie Davis come from the Birkenhead Venture to the Golden Gloves, who went to the Olympic Games. There was Andy Palmer, come from the Paras. Andy was in the Paras, and he come as a senior, Andy, from the Paras. And then there was quite a few of them. Siddiq and Dancy, he's the coach now at the Sefton. Okay. And they all come down training from the Paras, and most of them started boxing for the gloves then. So we had Andy Palmer, who was an ABA champion, Robbie Davis, ABA champion going to Olympic Games, Georgie Turpin, won a silver medal in the Olympic Games, Col Spears, who went to Olympic Games, boxed for England. So I looked up at all of them really.
Well, do you know what, I mean, that's just reeling them off, you know, and you know, it's very rare that one gym was like, in that time, elements would have so many, like, you know, great boxers and stuff like. So just to pick your brains, the Golden Gloves, what attracted these boxers to the Golden Gloves, if you don't mind me saying?
I think because there was a lot of families there, and they were good coaches. My dad, Tommy Bates, had been on the scene, Alan Nuckin, a British champion, and it attracted boxers. And of course, when you get champions, boxers all want to join the club. And don't forget, we had the Gill bodies that joined the Golden Gloves. We, you know, the Additons. So we had quite a few big families there. The Joysons, Joey Joyce and Tommy Joyce were all ABA champions, schoolboy champions, junior ABA champions. Joey boxed John 3 times. And in the championships, when Joey come to the Golden Gloves, they decided we had 2 champions in the same gym at the same weight, the same age. So we flipped the coin. So one went to bantam, one went to featherweight.
Who lost?
None of them. They won.
Oh,
in the contest.
In the
I'm not going to tell you
that. Sure. Who's going to starve, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm not going to tell you who.
So dedication, I mean, the training was going, the champions, there must have been a lot. As you know, in boxing as well, in them days, the diet, what was it, did you ever, you know, because nowadays the dietary is one of the main factors of like...
Yeah, well, them days, it was all about eating steak. Now steak's wrong. It takes 24 hours to digest. They used to eat steak, you see, T-bone steak before they got to the yeah. Now, because of the sports psychiatry, science and things like that, they're putting monitors on them, so it tells them that they're eating the wrong food, the right thing. We didn't have that years ago. We always got told to eat steak.
Eat steak.
Eat steak.
What was the butchers in the South End? You remember getting the steak?
Well, John Ireland worked in the butchers at a younger age. So John used to work in the butchers at 15 and used to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, go to, that was in Mill Street, go there, work in the fridges, and then John used to walk up at a younger age at 13, 14 and train.
Do you know what? It's dedication.
That's dedication, yeah.
I had a story about John. I like John. Well, I got to, my best boxing mate was Shane Early. Now, obviously, John was promoting him. But one time, Shane was saying to me, do some promotions, because people get cars, you know, like as an advertising. So I rang up. I said, well, let's get a buzz. And I rang up, I'd say HBO boxing. So Shane Early wants to fight Oscar De La Hoya. And I got a thing going, and it was on the paper. And Shane goes, Jimmy was on a plane, and I got a phone. He said, am I in Spain? He said, I just got a phone, I'm fighting Oscar De La Hoya. I said, I'm only doing that to get you the car in Vauxhall.
Yeah.
Next minute, John Ireland's ringing up where it was working.
Yeah.
And Stewie Zacco, and I was like, John Ireland's after you, what have you been up to? I said, no, I'm trying to promote him, you know. He said, John said, listen, it's my fight to this. I told him, I said, look, behave yourself. I was laughing, I thought, I've got John Ireland after me. Oh. So John, forgive me, John.
Yeah,
it was a big employ.
When we used to spar, and we used to go out and spar, and John Ireland was a southpaw, and what a counterpuncher he was, you know. Yeah. You know, I used to look up at John, because my dad used to say to us, get the gloves on. Who was sparring? Didn't mind sparring Joey Joyce. John Ireland. Oh my God, here we go.
So you're in for a lesson, yeah?
So I knew I was up against it. Awkward southpaw, moved, could explode back onto you, could see you switching on. Great boxing brain. And I used to think, oh no, here we go again. You know, we went up to, he went and boxed the #1 Welsh guy, and he was called Fancy Potter, they called him, and he had 20 bouts, he had 15 stoppages and 5 wins, no losses. So we take John up
to Wales.
Wales. No one had boxed this, Potter, they called him. So we get him, he goes up, and my dad says, I don't know where your opponent is, John. And he said, that's him there. John's 14, he's got all hair down his leg, he's got a moustache. And my dad said, that's not your opponent, George. And he said, that's my opponent, George. My dad goes over to him and he goes, what's your name, Potter? And he looked like a man. So the bell goes, and he punches his fists together, and he comes at John. So John could move left and right, he could figure someone, he could step 2 spaces and catch you. This Fancy Potter come out, swinging and whacking John, stepping back, and he could move, he could feint, you go one way and go the other way. Potter went back the corner, kicked the stool out of the thing, Posties told the referee to F off. And then John goes back to the corner and says to me, Dad, I think he's mad. And my dad said, well, I think he's mad. He's going to come out worse what he's just come out what I'm looking at. And he's hitting his gloves together. And he comes out and he runs out the corner. My dad says to John, move. John moves, catches him with a 1-2 left hook. Move, don't throw more than 2 shots, my dad says. Yeah, John throws a right hook because John was a southpaw. Potter comes again. John's giving him a boxing lesson. Sits down. Georgie's coming at me like a steam runner. If you think he's coming now, wait till the last round. Yeah. He kicked the post and he went out and he flew out that corner and John just danced around him and he gave him a boxing. When a decision to come,
yeah.
Potter got out the ring, run out the ring.
Bad sport.
But that was the day I seen a great fighter counter-punching, a strong boxer.
So what you're saying then, you know, a good boxer could always beat a good fighter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, there you go, because boxing is hitting without getting hit.
That's right.
So stand by for part 2 of this wonderful story with Georgie Treble. Take care.